up, G? Welcome back to Thug Notes. This week we keeping it Victorian with Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. This book tells the story of Pip, a street kid who be shacking with his crooked sister and her hubby Joe. One day while paying his respects at his parents' grave, a cracked out convict rolls up to him and demands some food and a nail file to escape his chains. Pip helps the brother out, but later sees that fool get got by the police. Later, an uppity cracker named Pumblechook arranges for Pip to kick it with a rich broad named Miss Havisham and her adopted daughter Estella. Now Stella may be fine, but she be acting a straight cock tease to my boy Pip. Pip be thinking that Miss Havisham wanna prime him to get paid like a gentleman, but she shuts his ass down and tells him to hustle as a blacksmith with his po Uncle Joe. Then one day some lawyer named Jaggers tells Pip that he about to get paid and inherit a swole fortune. So Pip kicks Joe Po ass to the curb and heads to London where he gonna learn to be a player. Pip be thinking that Miss Havisham gave him all that cash, so maybe she be prepping him to marry Estella. One night, Pip be visited by some player named Abel Magwitch, who turns out to be the convict from the graveyard. He tells Pip that it was him who gave Pip all them stacks of cash. Now Pip be wigging out that he ain't being primed to marry Estella, so he rolls up to that whole Havisham's crib and confesses his love for Estella. But that hood rat shuts this stunner down. Years later, Pip done fucked up and ends up boned out. Uncle Joe does Pip one last solid and pays off all his debt. Now Pip be feeling like a fool for dissing him all those years ago. So Pip decided to stop fronting with them rich folk and keep it real with the boy who got his back. Then one day while peeping the old Havisham crib, Pip runs into Estella, who be off the short leash of her ex-husband and Havisham and decides she wanna be cool with Pip. At the end of the book, Pip say he saw no shadow of another parting from her. Now, one of the main things my boy Charlie D trying to say up in here is if you making big ass assumptions about what the future holds, you sure as hell got another thing coming, homeboy. You can see this here disconnect between expectations and reality in the character of Havisham. This broad always wearing an old crusty wedding dress, even though she ain't been married. It's like she walking around every day showing that she was expecting way more out of life than she actually got. Likewise, Pip always expecting righteous things to happen to him, like Miss H making him a gentleman and getting freaky with that girl Estella. But this stunner is blind to the peeps that actually got his back. For example, when Pip finds out it was Abel that gave him those stacks of cash to nap that hag Havisham, he gets all crunk cause it ain't what he expected. When on the real, he should be geeked up that he got himself a sugar daddy. Another theme up in here is that having mad money corrupts your mind and your social relations. Before Pip becomes a rich playboy, that giddy cat Pumblechook be disrespecting him all the time. But after Pip makes bank, Pumblechook starts treating him like the man. Also, when my boy Pip gets them fat pockets, he starts dissing Joe cause he all po. On page 197, Pip says he would even pay to get Joe's weak ass out of his face, in spite of the fact that on page 127, Pip straight up calls this stunner an angel. More money, more problems, blood. Consider this shit right here. Conflicting values in this player's life be told through the images of stars and fire. That trick Estella's name comes from a Latin word that means star, whereas my man Joe be associated with the forge and fireplace. My hunky Dickens links that hoe with stars cause all those stars may be pretty, they straight up unreachable, just like Pip's romantic expectations. But on the other hand, fire is of the earth, and Dickens links Joe with fire to emphasize that down-home feeling of life in the hood without whack-ass delusions. Yo, thanks for watching Thug Notes, blood. Hit subscribe and tune in next week.